You can see where we sit in relation to the top of the post. So we're solid half metre higher than there, and that's my standard every year. So that basically my trimmer, my aero trimmer, gets pretty near maximum for the last trim. And I did what I trimmed this year. I trimmed 4 trims and then another just a tickle up once I had the nets on immediately pre-harvest.
Have you said why you do such a high canopy, John?
Well, just horsepower. To, I've got a lot of volume, and the thickness. The size of the leaf. There's, as long as I can control the botrytis, I want as much horsepower driving the crop as possible. And
You've got quite a wide vine space, so you can do that.
yeah, the 3 metres are exactly right, because as you know, that afternoon shade, if you have a super high canopy with a narrow row, it's a complete waste of time.
It would probably help towards that kind of thing that St Clair's have, where they want you shading the fruit a bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all steering in the same direction, but there is just that element of risk which I'm very aware of, and I'll tell you something else interesting, that this year was the first time I've ever plucked. Ever.
Wow!
Never plucked before. When I started growing, I talked to lots of growers about plucking and different things, and I got this, pretty much the feeling came out of it, well, I'm doing it because someone told me to do it and my neighbour does it. So I went, well, okay, I'll try for a start not doing it. Well, I got away with it till 2014.
And is that something that St Clair
Encouraged.
Yeah.
Yep, encouraged. They didn't take responsibility for it. They were encouraged. So I this year I learnt a lot. I plucked. I got a double row plucker, and I plucked in basically between Christmas and New Year.
So you did mechanical plucking?
Yes. Actually, it might have been New Year, about New Year, a little bit after New year. And I opened the canopy up quite a lot, and it was still quite open, pretty good, when the pre-bunch closure spray went on, 2.5 weeks later. And I learnt that my vines just close it in again. Look, you wouldn't know that I'd plucked. Apart from the size of some of these leaves, they're smaller. I mean, if I hadn't have plucked, the massive leaves would have been right through.
So you don't think it's like something that you don't think it's got any benefit plucking?
Oh no, I think it has. Yes.
Because that's
It
the
has.
great thing.
Yes.
About opening it up.
Yes.
Before people pre-bunch closure.
So
Yes.
basically you open it up, spray it, and then the vines close it up again.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So that's
Yes. So you get the coverage. You get the more wind, so therefore the trash also is more likely to be removed.
But then it closes up again, so you don't have sunburn
Yes,
or anything.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
interesting.
Yes. So that's. I've learnt a lot this year, and it's a value of this soil. I mean, it's got punch. The rootstock is SO4, all of it. So quite vigorous. Again, the spacing allows for that, and it's MS standard MS clone Sauvignon Blanc. So
the height of this canopy is quite unusual in Woolworth. Like, it's beautiful.
now it does create issues with, especially if you look across the road, you can see there's a bit of undulation, and the soil doesn't really change, apart from some areas where it might be a bit lighter, but it's not the issue. As you drop off a wee hill with this massive canopy, it's almost impossible to keep your wires on the post. So you end up with big potential flops. And with sort of mini windstorms and things like that, I've never ever had a blowover of a row, but I mean, it's one of my worst nightmares. A massive canopy, as you can imagine. So what I've started to do off the hills is just use little clip arrangements and have a clip here and a clip there. And that works by and large. Even the black clips, the wires on the base of the hills are completely useless because it just comes off. But even the clips, you can have them tight and snug in a brand new clip, and you've got to click it in, and you come back a week later after it's been rocking and rolling, and it's just walked its way out. And they walk their way out, so it's a constant cycle. and I can't. I've got 3 boys, and 2 of them aren't tall enough yet to deal with the top wire, and the one that is not interested. So.
Oh, something I wanted to ask was about, do you leaf pipe the same on both sides?
No, I try in first time this year. First time this year, so I'll be a lot better next year. But yes, I tried to plug hard on this side and less on that side, and I did to some degree. I mean, I reckon I could tell a difference, but I don't know whether you could.
So harder on the morning side
Yes, yeah,
and less hard on the afternoon.
yeah. But it was good, and pre-bunch. There was a definite difference at that time, and certainly.
So definitely going to do it again.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to be a bit more aggressive, and I think I will also experiment with doing a wee bit of plucking pre-flower. Now I'm well aware that is risky because you potentially reduce the carbohydrate power of the plant right when it's trying to set a crop, and that can be can affect your set. But I'm also going to experiment because I don't think it's going to affect us on our soil. I think I can do that on this soil, and it's going to keep going.
What kind of sprayer do you use?
A Sylvan, a new Sylvan. That was what I did as well. After 4-15, I changed the sprayer. So I've got a new Aero.
Is that a straddling sprayer, or is that just blast?
No, straddling.
It is?
Yeah.
Geez, straddling these.
Yeah. Well, my last weed spray, I've got to get it on a certain time because I couldn't put a weed spray on. Not that you would anyway, but I can't put one on close to harvest because the canopy's too high. I can't get my straddle herbicide.
Is it one of those cyclone sprayers, like like one side's sucking in and one side's blowing out, and so it creates a cyclone?
No, it isn't. It's a standard air shear Sylvan, and it's certainly with the papers and things like that, it seems to do a good job. But it's about having things being clear at the right time.
You need a good sprayer to penetrate that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it does, it gets pretty reasonably dense up there, but that's.
John, is it a balancing act when it comes to the application of different things on your on your vines? Because you're at the top of the pyramid or aiming to be there, you just put on whatever is required, or do you still have to weigh up all the economics of it?
Oh yeah. No, look, I know I deal with my own preconceptions. Really, I mean, I'm an ex-organic grower, so I'm not very enthusiastic about. Oh, don't worry, I spray and do what I need to do. I mean, it's 2015. If I can help it, it's never going to happen again. Where they had to harvest early when the season was fantastic and I didn't have a heavy crop. That's not going to happen again if I can help it. But I'm not. I don't just use everything. I mean, I'm questioning. I've got a chemical rep that I've been dealing with for years and years, and even back for apple days. And I question everything. Don't tend to take what they say with a grain of salt.
They're salespeople.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. And they're always trying to steer you towards something else. But you've got to mix things up a wee bit. But I mean. The powdery is the biggest thing, really, and powdery, the most effective thing is sulphur. It's raw and nasty and ugly, and 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 hopefully, it's not like lime sulphur. Now, lime sulphur, as an organic grower, I was very familiar with that because that's what we used. Very, very low rates of lime sulphur that controlled our black spot, which is a very aggressive.
During the growing season.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't have russet issues at all with the fruit. Lime sulphur is a great product. Yeah. It's just a bit nasty when it's used in the late winter on grapes at 4 to 7%. That is like a fumigant. It's horrible. So you don't want to be downwind from that.
What are your water requirements here? With really big plants and really big rows?
Yeah, I've got use Fruition, and they're irrigation consultants, and they've got neutron probes set on both sides of the road, and so they give me a weekly graph, and it's accurate to 1.2 metres, and I've been using them for years and years, and they give me a a recommendation 2 for the week, which I have to be honest, I don't take any notice of and never have. But it's all about the graph that they give me, a graph of what the soil profile is doing, and also individually through the 1.2 where it's drying out or gathering moisture, what's happened over the previous week. And it's brilliant. You know, this graph, and I've got last year's graph as well, and I know what happened. And then, of course, obviously rain artificially affects that, of course, because it bumps things up. But this year, what it's taught me is that across the road, the usable soil, apart from right up in that area, but generally, it's slightly shallower, believe it or not, than it is here. This is soil around here, particularly around the house, for the half block. This is the premium block. From about row 50, this way around the house, both sides, it's awesome. And that's what, and Sinclair have targeted me to grow greater volumes. Do you want to know what I harvested this year?
Yeah.
22.3 tonnes to the hectare. And that's at 21.2 bricks, 9.8 TA.
Do they?
And they were wrapped. They loved it.
So that when you're growing for a winemaker like St Clair's, do they give you a kind of a range of where they want you to harvest in terms of your bricks and TA, etc.?
No, it's all flavour based, and then they make the decision on. I have no decision making in it at all at that stage. We make a plan together, like this. The four blocks, 3 blocks were all targeting. We were targeting about 18.5. The blocks across the road all came in at both of them at about 17, just over 17, just under 17. The southeastern block, which is from row 40 actually, that way, that came in at 19. And this is 22.3, and they asked me to grow more than 21.
And you estimated that?
I cannot believe it. I have.
An underestimate.
I came in underestimate
Yeah.
across the road.
That's the best block.
Yeah, and I've made some spectacular cock-ups estimating. And the one thing I know that is accurate is my mid-November counting of florets, and so I know that's accurate. I've made some, but this year, particularly with Mark Allen coming through, we did things together, and I did a whole lot of extra sampling and what have you, and I was within, I was down about 5% of what I thought I had across the road. I was spot on in the southeast, and here I was so close to being spot on, it wasn't funny. So, yeah, but I know it'll probably never happen again.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah. So anyway, they were wrapped. So, anyway.